Hi everybody, of course I'm not seriously expecting you to go back and play a game from 2013, even one from the iconic Call of Duty series, and we all know that Ghost wasn't exactly received with open arms when it was released sort of 7 years ago, but I thought it might be interesting to go back and try and play it on the PlayStation, just to kind of get a feel with it, because obviously it's an Infinity Ward game. And it's a boots on the ground kind of modern warfare era, a little bit after really sort of the modern warfare 3 sort of era of games, but it's still, M16 type guns, AK type guns, with soldiers that kind of resemble kind of soldiers that you'd kind of see today. At the time, it was heavily criticised for having a fast time to kill and very confusing maps that were kind of in a direct comparison to the 3-lane Treyarch maps that we'd had in Black Ops 2, the previous Call of Duty. The other challenges that this game came across is that it was the first Call of Duty designed for the new generation of consoles, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, so it had to play on both, and what you're seeing here is PlayStation 4 gameplay. However, sort of those criticisms of having these big maps that were a bit confusing, that's very similar to the criticism that is levelled at Modern Warfare 2019, having these big maps with there's lots of places for people to hide and camp. So I thought let's reinstall it. It's not a very big install. I think it's less than 15 gigabytes, and let's give it a go. Now, unfortunately, there was less than 300 people playing when I went online, which really meant that Team Deathmatch was the only option to try and get a game. And we're here in Stonehaven, this kind of, I guess it's a satellite crash site in Wales or England or maybe Scotland, something like that. And I'm kind of pleased to say that it's interesting to play. Because there's so few people online, it's very laggy, and the hit detection, well, it's probably not its fault with hit detection. It's a problem with lag, in the fact that the 200 people over the entire globe playing this game means we're probably all going to be fairly far apart. So whether your hit's registered before the other person, it's a bit of a lottery, to be honest. But I had a fun time. It looks pretty good, I think. It doesn't run that well in certain situations on the PlayStation 4. But I can definitely see the route that Infinity Ward were kind of going in. You can kind of see if you take Ghosts and then you take Modern Warfare 2019, that one is definitely related to the other in with the size of the maps and and the types of weapons. And you kind of get a feeling what would have happened if Infinity Ward hadn't had to make Infinite Warfare. And whether they could have taken the idea of Ghosts if it had been a little bit better received, if it had been a little bit better of a, maybe they'd tweaked a few bit of things to make it a little bit more user friendly. And then what would we have had today? I mean, I can safely say that Modern Warfare 2019, I think, is one of the best CODs. Well, it's definitely the best COD of this generation. Better than Ghosts, better than Black Ops 3, better than Black Ops 4, better than Infinite Warfare, better than COD World War 2. And I'm very, very, very pleased with it. But as I say, it's interesting to go back and play this kind of fledgling Modern Warfare 2019 in Ghost, where you can kind of see where they were kind of going, but they just didn't really get it right. Probably due to the fact that so many of the personnel had left Infinity Ward after Modern Warfare 2, after Modern Warfare. The Infinity Ward of today is not the Infinity Ward of COD 4 Modern Warfare that way. So I'd say if you've got the game, and you've got a spare hour to spend and you fancy going back, it's worth installing it again and having a quick go. I wouldn't recommend buying it. You're better off putting your money into a newer game, or putting it into maybe cosmetics for Modern Warfare, unless of course you're a COD completionist and you want to play the campaigns and things like that. From what I remember, the campaign was okay, but it was a little bit of an odd story. I don't really remember much about it. I remember there's some really vicious bits in it though, that nasty things were happening. But there we go, COD Modern Warfare 2019 versus Call of Duty Ghosts. Not really a fair comparison. Oh, the other thing I actually wanted to talk about was it's very unfortunate that so few people are playing this game, because as with Modern Warfare 2019, these style of confusing large maps work much better on objective-based game modes like dominations or hardpoint, that sort of thing. In team deathmatch or free-for-all, where you don't have to push. You know, you can camp with a scope on and just kill players as they run past. You're definitely at a bit of a disadvantage. Where in objective-based modes, where in order to win, enemies do have to push for the flags, I think these maps really come into their own. But there wasn't. I don't think there was anybody playing. I don't think a domination at all. So it was just really team deathmatch. But there we go. An interesting game, an interesting thing to do. Sort of 7 years later, does it still hold up? Well, it looks great, but there's not really enough people playing to have a really good multiplayer experience. But as I say, if you've already got it, maybe think about reinstalling it and playing it for a bit, just to have a bit of fun, and then go back to the almighty Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'll leave you with the gameplay, and I'll see you again soon.
We're in the lead. SATCOM ready. Friendly SATCOM active. We've lost the lead. Friendly SATCOM active. We're losing. Keep fighting. Time's almost up.